All pleasant good morning, good evening, and good afternoon to our many followers and viewers of LBC 99.9 FM and LNTV Liberia Live. My name is Masiami Kone and I'm coming to you live at the Ministry of Information, Cultural Affairs and Tourism. So today is Thursday and today is MICAT regular press briefing. Arrival and sitting of journalists were done by 11:30 and arrival and sitting of guests should have been done by 11:45, but we are still here waiting the guests. Housekeeping and special statement will be done by Honorable Daniel Otesano, Deputy Minister for Press and Public Affairs here at MICAT. So today MICAT press briefing will be addressed by Honorable Samuel F. Kpakio, Chairperson Liberia Land Authority. Honorable Kpakio will speak on the current Liberia Land Authority policy, fees, and the MOU signed between the Liberia Land Authority and its South Korean partner recently, and will be followed by questions and answers. So to follow, please tune to ELBC 99.9 FM, www.elbcradio.com, Prime FM 105.5, Ablijade online television in Grand Bassa County, Liberia Public Radio in USA and KMTV. You can also join the Ministry of Information, Cultural Affairs and Tourism Facebook page and other various community radio stations. So MICAT encourage you to stay informed by reading the New Liberia newspaper every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, and keep following the Lena newscast daily for the latest updates on government policy and programs. So once again, if you are just joining us, I would like to say welcome. This is LBC 99.9 FM and LNTV Liberia Live. I'm coming to you live at the Ministry of Information, Cultural Affairs and Tourism. So sticking still with us, don't you go away as we bring you full coverage of MICAT regular press briefing. So Honorable Samuel F. Kpakio will today address the Ministry of Information, Cultural Affairs and Tourism press briefing, and he will provide curious updates on the authority ongoing land reforms, initiatives, land services fee, and detail of our memorandum of understanding recently signed between the Liberia Land Authority and its South Korean partner. Honorable Kpakio is expected to outline the authority's current policy, including strengthening implementation of the Land Rights Act of 2018, digital transformation, land record and documentation, strengthening land administration services across the country, reducing land dispute and support land transaction, enhancing public access to transparent and legal recognized land services. And he will also clarify the current fee structure for key land services aimed at raising public interest in the cost of land survey. So once again, if you are just joining us, I'd like to say welcome. This is LBC 99.9 FM and LNTV Liberia Live. I'm broadcasting to you live at the Ministry of Information, Cultural Affairs and Tourism. So that's the arrival of Honorable Daniel Otesano, Deputy Minister for Press and Honorable Samuel. So once again, stick and stay with us. Don't you go away as we bring you full coverage of MICAT regular press briefing. Keep following.
Thank you, Charles. And on behalf of the Ministry of Information, Cultural Affairs and Tourism, we'd like to thank the management and staff of Equatorial Attitude Broadcasting Corporation, that's ELBC, from FM 105.5. We understood that over 30 community radio stations joined LBS to broadcast our press conference. As usual, I'd like to thank you, member of the press, for coming. I'd like to welcome the chairperson of the Liberia Authority into our refurbished Liberia Press Hall. Let me welcome our radio listeners, television viewers, Facebook followers. We are broadcasting to you from the Liberia Press Hall, situated here at the Ministry of Information, Cultural Affairs and Tourism. Mr. Sano, I'd like to bring your attention that this is the very first time the Ministry of Information, under your leadership, headed by Minister Yolini Mapikia, have two independent journalists from here that are working outside the ministry. The ministry sent them to Kpakio for training, and they'll be back on Friday in person of Kpakio Flama, the CEO for DL News, and Abby Penner from the independent newspaper. The historical that God decided to bring it to the attention of the public. It is the first time it is done on PR and the senior management under your leadership at Deputy Minister for Press and Public Affairs. I'd like to thank you for coming at this juncture. I'd like to invite the spokesperson of the government, Deputy, on the Good afternoon, everybody. Good afternoon. We want to say thanks to all of you for your commitment, your commitment to the ministry. You are always on time. Every Tuesdays and Thursdays by year. As a ministry, we are challenged. We do not have. We do not have the resources to compensate you justly for what you do. I'm sure you do so bearing in mind that you have a duty to your country. And you have a duty to execute the task as required of the path of professionalism that you chose. And so, usually we will always want to call you out for your invaluable services, your sacrificial contribution that we continue to offer the Ministry of Information, the government Liberia, communication. Let me welcome all of our viewers and listeners who are following via social media, community radio stations, commercial radio stations, and of course, the state-owned ELBC. It is always a privilege to be in the company of the people who are following. We have gotten many positive feedbacks from the press union. And so those feedbacks have motivated us to do more in attracting public attention, Because we live in a time where communication is a very important subject. I know at times people tend to overlook the work of the Ministry of Information. But just imagine what the government would be without this ministry. You have radio stations that are committed to manufacturing lies, commentators who are devoted to blackmailers. They embark on a smear campaign just with the goal of painting the government up. So that's how important the Ministry of Information is. And we're not surprised that some people who disagree with the government, who are quote-unquote critics of the regime, they also do not take lightly what we do here to try to misrepresent us. But we're going to be distracted. We have a detail to steer the communication arm of the government. We will do so regardless of effort and any discussion. We communicate with the people. We will go back in repelling negative and smear against the government. Negative propaganda and smear campaign. We will do so. With that being said, let me welcome our distinguished guests, the Honorable Samuel F. Kpakio, is the chairperson of the Liberia Land Authority. Is here specifically to speak on the current LLA, the Liberia Land Authority policy, and the MOU signed between the Liberia Land Authority and some investors, South Korean partners, was recently signed, so he's here to throw light on this event. But land building, everybody concerned. There are people who fall victim every day to others who are involved into criminal conveyance of land. They sell land 2-3 times. And so it's good sometimes we'll talk about the development news. You know, development is a broader term. So now we talk about development movement, look at infrastructure. Or sometimes development is also about the policy, the system that is put into place by the government to protect the interests of the citizens. And of course, land being one of the contentious issues in our country, it's good that we have the boss of the Liberia Authority to talk about some of the issues. Just like I'm taking my office now. Even over the weekend, he received call about land issues. He said on Sunday he received call about land issues. That tells you how contentious the sector is. So we admit that we have a challenge. There's a lot to do. There's a lot to be done. But why the policies have been made, the people who are leading that effort will have to always speak to the public so that people, the Liberian people, can know that the government is not just sitting down and doing nothing about regulating the land sector. So, Honorable Kpakio, we want to welcome you and your delegation to the Ministry of Information. Of course, our own friend, Mr. Lucas Infaya, who is a freelance journalist, a strategic, how you call it? Strategic media. Strategic network. We want to welcome you, my friend Tete. Where's Tete? Tete and I went to we attended common graduate school together at AMICAT University. But before we speak to the land authority boss, we just want to show light on some major developments happening across the country. for the benefit of the people. It's good for us to always talk about the positives, even though some of our friends will insist that nothing is happening. But we know, as a country, that we are better off than what we were 2 years ago. Looking at the energy sector, the efforts have been made to expand it, new communities, new homes are being connected, communities that never experienced electricity for close to 3-4 decades are now being connected. Riverside County, since the foundation of this country, and now boast of electricity. Key cities in Riverside being electrified. So you can know that something is happening. Because even those who will argue that nothing has changed, I guess somebody can put a generator on this time. Because you know, the thing about generator, when you have it, and you don't use it for a while, the day you go start it will create problem. So even those who argue that nothing has changed, I guess when they're not using generator again, they're using electricity, LEC. When you see the Autopause campaign in the rural sector being led by Mr. Giddings and a team of competent delegates, then you know that something is happening for your country. You know that something is happening for your country. When you see your foreign minister seated in the White House with the Secretary of State of the United States of America, then you know that something good is happening for your country. When you see key policy actors in the government, the education sector, the health sector, making moves, attracting new investment, then you know that something good is happening for your country. So, as I speak to you from behind this microphone, I want you to reimagine the country. Every day we can talk politics. Politics will not improve the livelihood of the people. What will improve the livelihood of our citizens, our people, will be determined by the step the government takes to addressing some of the age-old problems we have had. And we'll do that. The things we were talking about yesterday are not the things we're talking about today. That's how you know progress has been made. Because yesterday it was like civil service would not be paid 3-4 months. So that's not an issue. That's not an issue today. Yesterday we were talking about government health facilities across the country being out of jobs. Today, that's not an issue we're discussing. We're now talking about building new medical facilities because the current ones have never run out of stock. For 2 years, they have not run out of stock. On the international front, you can tell that progress is being made. When a country being elected to sit on the Security Council of the United Nations, the highest, let us say, the movement will say the echelon of global decision making. Liberia is there. We're not talking about isolation. We're not talking about sanctions. We'll be elevated on international front. Pipe on water. Cities in the rural areas being connected. The sector is being expanded. Then you know progress has been made. Rome was not built in the daytime. But what I want to leave with you is that you can determine that progress is being made because the conversation of yesterday is not the conversation of today. What we are discussing now are far different from what we were listening. So the United States published what term as the United States Department of State published the investment climate report on Liberia. We'll talk about India briefly on Tuesday. But the entity that is responsible for investment in Liberia, the NRC, has formally responded to the report, which I do believe was very positive to a greater extent for our country. Even though, again, some people say it was a negative verdict for our country, but when I read some of the positives, how the report even laid out sectors for possible U.S. investment in Liberia, the projection of the growth rate in the economy, and everything the government has done to fix things in the country, I can conclude that the report was positive. But here's what the Investment Commission said. The National Investment Commission extends its appreciation to the United States Department of State for publishing the 2025 Investment Climate Statement on Liberia. The Commission welcomes this comprehensive evaluation of Liberia's investment environment and value the objective perspective it provides for global investors. The statement acknowledges both the opportunities and ongoing challenges in Liberia's business climate, which is true. Notably, the statement reaffirms that the National Investment Commission has consistently communicated to investors that investment is not a one-time event, but a process of continuous engagement, due diligence, and collaboration between investors and the government of Liberia. The report recognizes key challenges related to infrastructure, electricity costs, bureaucratic inefficiency, while commending the government's commitment to institutional reform, accountability, and transparent investment governance. All of these are central to President Joseph Mambata's Arrest Agenda for Inclusive Development, the AID. Cumulatively, U.S. firms now represent more than $5.7 billion in active and prospective investment interests in Liberia. I read that again. Cumulatively, firms from the United States of America now represent more than $5.7 billion in active and prospective investment interests in Liberia, spending the multi-billion-dollar Liberty Corridor projects led by Ivanhoe Atlantic, formerly HPX, to new ventures in energy, healthcare, and education. Institutional progress and results. Honor His Excellency President Joseph Boaga's administration, Liberia achieved measurable progress in strengthening its investment climate, marked by improved institutional transparency, an uptick in high-level investor visits, and greater clarity in regulatory and licensing pathways. Key achievements include renewed investment interests in large-scale energy infrastructure projects, supported by clearer policy direction, and stronger public-private collaboration. Removal of moratorium on investment incentives in June 2024, signaling the government's readiness to rejuvenate investment inflows. A growing pipeline of investment projects facilitated through the NRC's engagement, models reflecting the government's practical focus on the investment process from introduction through feasibility to execution. While acknowledging continuous challenges, the National Investment Commission concurs with the U.S. report that further improvement is needed in infrastructure, power supply, and ease of doing business. The government remains committed to accelerating reforms to address these gaps and to strengthen investor protection framework. The NRC notes that investment is not an event, but a process. The NRC values Liberia's partnership with the United States and the broader international community in recognizing Liberia's progress. The NRC notes that under President Bouaga's leadership, the government's priority is clear: to create a transparent, competitive, and inclusive investment environment that benefit both investors and the Liberian people. So the people who are responsible for investment have spoken. We have to read the full text of the statement of the issue because it is very important. Even as we improve the road infrastructure, expand energy, provide salary top-up for civil servants, strengthen the police, reform the courts. One thing that is key is how many jobs the government can create in the private sector. And to that end, investment is very significant, it's very key. And we're putting that what to control life on that statement. So improvement of LLA across the health sector and GFK is no exception. We're now going from paper-based to e-hospital. And that exercise has kicked off with the information system, the hospital management information system. They're moving from paper-based to e-hospital. And it kicks off with the hospital management information system at GFK. Toward modernizing healthcare in Liberia, the John F. Kennedy Medical Center has taken the lead in public healthcare system by kicking off a technical working section that will lead to the deployment of its long-awaited hospital management information system. This development marks the beginning of the GFK's transition from paper-based record to a fully digitized e-hospital platform. The system is an initiative being spearheaded by Liberian tech firm ATEX Technology in partnership with international digital transformation company Kpakio. The full scale of the system deployment by ATEX Technology will empower the GFK Medical Center to digitize patient records, empower the GFK Medical Center to digitize patient records for improved accuracy, security, and faster access to medical data, streamline hospital operations by automating key services such as admission, billing, pharmacy, and laboratory workflow. We will also enhance decision-making through advanced analytics that support evidence-based management, support healthcare staff by minimizing paperwork and improve user experience, and ensure robust data protection by applying global cybersecurity standards to safeguard sensitive health information. the European Union, in partnership with the government of Liberia and its International Institute of Tropical Agriculture, the RRTA, has officially launched a land and soil resources knowledge project. It's called Source for Liberia. It is a landmark $4.6 million initiative intended to strengthen Liberia's capacity for sustainable land and soil management. The project is funded by the European Union delegation to Liberia and is being implemented by the International Institute of Tropical Agriculture, RRTA. It's a 4-year project and will support the development of the Liberia Land and Soil Information System. It is a comprehensive data-driven platform designed to improve reliable and up-to-date information on Liberia's soil and land resources. The Agricultural Research Institute, the Central Agricultural Research Institute, the University of Liberia, and several government entities such as the Liberia Land Authority, Liberia Agriculture Commodity Regulatory Authority, LICRA, National Investment Commission, Environmental Protection Agency, and the Forestry Development Authority, among others. Hundreds of professionals and students are expected to benefit through training, research support, and institutional capacity building over the project for the 8-month duration. So while efforts are being made to expand LLC across the country, we live in a time where transitions are being made from hydropower to renewable energy. So the Rural Renewable Energy Agency, the RREA, assigned a $5.5 million grant subsidy agreement with the Rural Solar Incorporated to expand access to solar home systems for 6,900 rural households across 14 counties. This project is under the Liberia Electricity Sector Strengthening Access Program, LISA, and will see each household receive US $35 subsidy to reduce transportation and installation costs. The project is co-funded by the government of Japan in the sum of $3.05 million, and the World Bank RDA credit $2.5 million to support Liberia's push towards clean, affordable, and decentralized energy. The program targets counties including Grand Kpakio, 2,200 households, Bapuru, 1,300, River G, 805, Grand Crew, 400, Sando County, 305 households, Maryland County, 405 household benefits, Maggie, 255 household benefits, Grand Gillette, 355 households with benefits, Muscle County, 150 households, Nima, 200 households, Lofa, 155, Grand Bassa, 105, River 700, and Bon 105. Beyond the household electrification, the project will also fund mini-grid solar street lights and public facility installation, strengthening Liberia's rural energy resilience and advancing national electrification goals. Lastly, before I invite the LLA boss to the podium, we see on the market every day that there are expired goods on the shelf of various entities. So the Ministry of Commerce and the relevant entities of the Liberian government, namely the Liberia Food Authority, in collaboration with the Ministry of Health, has ordered an immediate halt to sell, distribution, and consumption of a pasted tom tomato mix. This product is manufactured by a company based in Ghana. They have stopped them from selling this product in Liberia. Section 26.2 of the Public Health Law, Title 30, prohibits trade in adulterated food, and Section 39.4 and 39.6 of the Ministry of Health Act 2017 authorizes the ministry to undertake preventive measures that promote public health. Additionally, Chapter 12 of the Food Authority Act 2009 authorizes the entity to regulate food safety in Liberia. This action follows food safety violations uncovered during routine inspection and laboratory testing conducted by the Food and Drug Authority of Ghana, the Liberia Standard Authority, Ministry of Commerce, and the Food Authority of Liberia have confirmed that several batches of the products contain dangerously high level of bossic acid, undeclared additives, mold contamination exceeding international safety standards, high salinity, erasable expiration dates, and lack of batch number and barcode. The finding constitutes adulterated and contaminated food under the public health law, and is therefore within the authority of the Food Authority of Liberia to call such contaminated food. What does it mean? This suggests that vendors, supermarkets, distributors must remove all affected products from shelf and storage immediately. 2, customers who have already purchased this product are strongly advised not to consume it. Better so you can return it to the point of purchase, from the point of purchase. So it's for your own safety. Our tomato paste is called a pasted tongue tomato mix. See, it's not good for consumption. That being said, I will now take my seat as I invite to the microphone the head of the Liberia Land Authority. He will make his presentation, and then as protocol depicts, we'll entertain questions from our media friends, and we'll respond to the questions. Thank you. Good afternoon, Mr. Minister. Thank you very much for a wonderful introduction. And please allow me to recognize one of my commissioners who decided to join me and to give me the support. He is Liberia City Commissioner for Land Use and Management, and also with me, which of course, a well-known journalist, freelance journalist, Rudolph Fire, who is our consultant at the Liberia Land Authority, with Mr. Morris, who works within the chairman office. And behind me is the Director for Communication at the Liberia Land Authority, Mr. Tete. I just wanted to thank you for the time that you all took to accompany me at this briefing. Honorable Minister, and the dedicated team at the Ministry of Information, members of the 4th Estates, colleagues in public service, friends, and fellow citizens.
It is truly an honor and a pleasure to be here once again at MICAT to update the Liberian people on the progress and the ongoing developments at the Liberia Land Authority since I assumed leadership together with my team in the month of February of this year. Let me begin by expressing my profound gratitude to His Excellency Joseph Nima Boakai, President of the Republic of Liberia, for entrusting us with the responsibility to serve our nation through the effective management and transformation of the Liberia Land Authority. The Liberia Land Authority is undergoing a pivotal phase of institutional reform and transformation. As chairman, I have had the privilege of leading and supporting several key initiatives, mostly the completion of a comprehensive set of new regulations designed to strengthen our institutional framework and improve service delivery. Distinguished members of the press, I am pleased to reaffirm that the Land Authority remains steadfastly committed to the Liberian people and to the full implementation of the government arrest agenda. While we continue to face challenges, it is important to emphasize that sustained support for the Liberia Land Authority and indeed for the broader land sector will yield significant long-term benefits for our country. Such support, yes indeed, will enhance our capacity for revenue generation and stimulate economic opportunities. It will contribute to national peace and security and improve land governance, transparency, and accountability, laying the foundation for sustainable growth, social cohesion, and responsible land use. Ongoing efforts. In practical terms, our current priorities are focused on streamlining land administration processes, including mapping, deregistration, and land valuation, resolving land disputes to promote peace and stability across all 15 counties, strengthening land tenure security by formalizing customary land rights and issuing statutory deeds, empowering communities and landholders to invest confidently in their properties for social and economic development. Key achievements and new initiatives. Ladies and gentlemen of the press, in alignment with our vision to transform Liberia's land sector, ensuring equitable access, tenure security, and effective land management, the Liberia Land Authority Board of Commissioners is proud to announce the launch of a new National D form. This new form will be officially introduced to the public on November 1st, 2025, with a transition period concluding on December 1st, 2025. Additionally, the Liberia Land Authority has developed and introduced several critical policy instruments and operational guidelines, including 1, interim guidelines for temporary occupancy permits, formerly known as squatters' rights. 2, interim guidelines for validating travel certificates. 3, interim guidelines for the sales and lease of public land. And 5, a new fee regime for land-related services incorporating applicable fines and charges, accountability and enforcement. We are acutely aware of public concern regarding unlawful land activities. In response, the Liberia Land Authority has launched an investigation into allegations involving one Mr. Blama rights, including illegal land transactions, land grabbings, and the use of threats or force against residents, particularly in the communities of Caldwell, Johnsonville, Louisiana, White Plains, King Farm, and many other surrounding areas around Monrovia. Mr. Rice has submitted himself for investigation, which is currently ongoing. The public will be duly informed of the findings and any subsequent actions taken by the Liberia Land Authority. Capacity building and strategic partnership. Thanks to the general support of the government of Sweden under the Sustainable Land Services for Liberia projects, we have successfully completed automated dispute resolution called ADR training for officers in 4 counties, strengthening their ability to manage complex land disputes effectively. As part of the project, 12 motorbikes were procured for land officers across 6 counties, improving both field mobility and revenue generation. We have also stabilized and operationalized the existing version of the Land Administration System, LLA, review and approve standard operating procedures for de-verification, and provided logistical support to our IT team. Additionally, equipment such as laptops, scanning devices have been procured, and Starlink Internet have been installed in Grand Basel, Mangibi, and Bong County to enhance services delivery. Furthermore, on September 26, 2025 of this year, with invaluable support from the United Nations Development Program, the Liberia Land Authority facilitated the official handover of customary land deeds to 23 communities across Nimba County, Grand Cape Man County, and Bobby counties, marking a landstone achievement in strengthening land governance and securing community land rights. Most recently, on October 16, 2025, the Liberia Land Authority signed a 3-year memorandum of understanding with South Korean firm All for Land and Lee Metrics. These partnerships paves the way for the development and implementations of the Liberia Land Information System, a modern digital platform designed to revolutionize land administration, increase efficiency, and promote transparency in property management. The Liberia Land Authority also represented Liberia at the African Land Institutions Network conference organized by the Rights and Resources Initiative, RRI, and the African Land Policy Center, held from October 14 to the 16th of 2025 at the Buntumani Conference Center in Freetown, Sierra Leone. This high-level gathering brought together over 100 delegates from across Africa and beyond, including land governance experts, policymakers, civil society leaders, and development partners, under the theme Strengthening Land Institutions for Inclusive Growth and Resilience. The conference underscored the urgent need for robust, transparent, and people-centered land institutes across the continent. We were proud to share Liberia innovations, policy solutions, and the community-driven approaches to land governance, particularly those empowering women, youth in customary communities. It was indeed gratifying that Liberia's land authority was used as a case study for other African countries. We acknowledge that we still have a long way to go, but we are making steady and measurable progress. In conclusion, the Liberia Land Authority remains unwavering in its commitment to transparency, accountability, and service to the Liberian people. Together, with the continued support of our government, development partners, and citizens, we will build a sector that promotes peace, ensure justice, and foster sustainable development for all Liberians. I thank you all.
So we just listened to the chairperson of the Liberia Land Authority, Honorable Simon A. So we just joined you all this This is your BC 99.1 FM on LLA TV, Liberia Live.
For questions, why the chairman was in fight? We could place the rattle or the head of this entity. The Honorable Jeremy Kpakio, who just returned from the United States last night, where he had gone to attend the self conference. So the Agile conference in America, Minister Pia just returned from the States. He was there to attend that conference. He will make, we can welcome the minister back because he is the minister of base. But as a way of having him back here, we'll now take a brief remark from him before we entertain questions. Mr. Minister.
So that was the voice of the spokesperson of the government, the Sai's Honorable Daniel. So Honorable John Bekmafipina, Ministers of Information, Cultural Affairs and Tourism.
It's good to be back and to see all of you doing what you all know how to do best. I'd like to congratulate you on the successful conduct of your elections that brought to bear new hopes of officers. And I would like to particularly congratulate Mr. Mopulu, who I'm told was the winner of the elections. And I'd like to encourage all of you, including the other side of the election, that the elections are not over. You are one group of people, and you must continue to work together. Don't allow the elections to bring division amongst you all. is important. What makes democracy sweet is the fact that someone must win, someone must be the loser. But in the end, the loser or losers and the winners will all come together and work, if it is for country or for the organization. I know as I was following, there was one outstanding, because strangely there was a tariff for the secretary. Have you resolved that?
Election job.
You have not done it?
After the press conference, we run up.
Oh, look, do it before the press conference. All right, but let's hope that that too will end well. Like Minister Sando, first let me thank Minister Sando and the acting minister who's not here. Let me thank particularly Minister Sando, who has been holding the torch in my absence. I believe that the Deputy Minister has fitted well into the role given him by the President. I don't expect that people in the public will agree with everything he does or say. Because you see, when you can do everything perfect, then you're an angel. And I'm not sure any of us here are angels. The most important part is what makes somebody else cry, brings smiles to another. Whatever you do can make some people happy and make some people sad. So which side you fall on is okay. We take it in good stride and we move on. But I think overall, Mr. Sando has been good. He's been standing firm and doing what somebody in his chair will do. And I know that because that's a role I played before. I used to be Deputy Minister for President Public Affairs. So it's a very familiar territory. So thank you, Mr. Sando. Yes, I was in the U.S. I traveled with the President. We attended the UN General Assembly, the 80th section of the Assembly. Then we went for the Diaspora Conference in Washington, followed by a town hall. And your umbrella group that is in the U.S. called the Association of Liberian Journalists in the Americas, AJA had invited me as a Minister of Information as a special guest, and the Minister of Finance and Development Planning asked me a keynote speaker. So we both had to wait to participate in the convention. It ended, and we headed back home. I arrived here late, in the conference room because I thought to do a couple of things this morning. First, to go to LEC and sit down with the management team. Fortunately, I met 3 of the managers, Kpakio, Fredericks, and so. And we had some wonderful conversations. And then I proceeded to see the folks at the Ministry of Public Works. And you will wonder why immediately upon coming home I chose to see those 2 groups of people. That is because this grass is to see immense work taking place in our country. This is the spearhead by those 2 entities. I've lived in Broadway since 2011. When I arrived at the airport, time it takes to get the baggage and all of that, I arrived in my neighborhood around 11. Across VOA Junction. That's the last place before I left that you could see light. As I crossed the rest of the stretch, leading all the way to Kpakio where I was supposed to bend to my house, fully lighted. Street lights. That was not what surprised me. I took a bend to move into G4 Road where I live. And that entire community was as brave as a heavenly city. And just reflect a little bit and remember that I said I've moved there since 2011. That place has never seen light. From 2011 up to now, I have used generator those number of years. I was in the state when they were doing the mapping, customer registration for meter and house-to-house connection. And they called me there to meet the houses registered. The meters are about to be installed. For the first time since 2011, I will have the chance to switch on a light not based on my generator power, but being sourced from the power grid. When I met the folks at LLA that morning, before Christmas, from the airport to ELWA Junction, maybe when you drive on the road, one of them told me you would have to put your car lights on. Because they will land the light pole on side by side, so the entire corridor will be bright. Also, before that time, for the first time since the end of the war, they will also light the capital city of Monserrado County, which is Bento, that has not seen electric power. Even though Bento is very close to the hard road and some of the places that do have current. The IEC also informed me this morning that the extension of their power grid currently covers 9 counties. For me, these things look like miracles. Because don't forget, in just 1 or 2 years since the current government was elected, and if we intentionally, or for the sake of politics, look at these things, and then somebody comes and says, since you came here 2 years ago, nothing has changed. And others expected that what we do in response would be to clap and sing Kumbaya. I mean, let's be practical. All of you here started, not all of you might hear that you here started this term with us. I mean, the current team at the Ministry of Information. And you know what we inherited as a ministry? Before we came to where we are currently, we were doing strategic interventions. The whole place was leaking. Change the roof. This thing you call conference hall, so like a garbage. Change it. Let's assume that nothing else happened, but we did only these 2 things: change the roof, change the conference hall. And one of you here, we're going to the morning, 7 minutes of PIA thinking here, nothing has changed. And I just go to say, yeah, you're correct. Hey man, what about the roof that was leaking massively? What's about the conference room that was at the downside? So all we demand, criticize us all you want, but there are bases for the criticism. Push us. Because when no one is pushing you, you will not see the need to work hard. But don't manufacture falsehood. Point to the things that we're supposed to do that we are not doing. We'll tell you why we're not doing it and what we'll do eventually about it. But when you base the foundation of your politics on falsehood, then there must be reaction. I mean, some people can interpret it all kind of ways. I know all of you in this hall, you've never heard anybody stand on this podium. In the typical Liberian war, you've never seen anybody stand on the podium called Marcos. There are some people say, it's up to them. Maybe they formed the new definition for what represents Marcos. I can change their mind about what they think. The facts are there, and the facts will always be there. I'm one person who most times I'm unshaken and lose thoughts. You are all here. When somebody with a blue sky use their outlet, a radio station, a newspaper, and say, I assaulted a journalist. Maybe the only person among you guys who are very concerned, investigative, and stood up and saw some of the right part he did was this one. He's the only person amongst you. And I think because he's got to know me. That kind of man whose mouth is as sharp as a double-edged sword. Assault somebody. And just my mouth can crush you. I'm the father of 5 children. Give my measure to discipline them. One of them is 32, married. And my biggest daughter is 29. From the time they were born up to these ages, my method of disciplining them falls short of any hit. I've never beaten any of my children before. They're amongst the most disciplined. If the one I got control of, who I've yet taken a bigger part. But I've never struck them before. And somebody called a journalist. It's the person I'm supposed to. But I think, and I not brought this up because I wasn't here when all the other attending procedure. I think the president, especially the current leadership, for being different. Because in the past, some of the leadership that were just happy with the use of the pen who condemn before even thinking. This union said, we set a committee to investigate. The committee reported you all there. One thing was very clear. The claim of assault against this man is a lie. Those entities have not been able to muster the courage, as well as those who are helping them to run with such a trash. Not be able to muster the courage to say, Mr. Minister, sorry, we were misled, and I will report it. So this is what is supposed to be an acceptable norm in our society. And the cherished fraternity you belong to can be used recklessly to destroy people's culture. Attitude of hate, envy, malice, or whatever it might be. That certainly is not what the profession calls for. There is a need that those who are friendly, I'm not talking about people who pass through, but those who choose this profession who love being journalists can act jealously protect your profession. Thank you.
So just listening to one of the journalists make live opinion. Liberia information
Thank
minister
you very much, Mr.
arrived yesterday
I'll wait for now.
from the United States. So following.
Ms. Sophia has not been here.
Today's is questions
Ask you,
and answers by journalists.
who is the official spokesperson of the government. You want to actually, you can ask him. What our guest for today is ready for your question. You heard him. He spoke from the prepared text. So that you cannot, and you go say something else because the LLC brought here on Tuesday, they never put in the questions. She made some very strong revelations. The country has achieved 90% compliance rate. All of you, the story you carry out, they saw 140 deviant government officials. But the executive chairperson informed the nation that this government, this country, under the leadership of President Buhari, has achieved 90% compliance rate. I thought that was the news. And he said, 140 officials are not declared yet. But the news for the people say 140 defined officials. You know. She also said that during the periodic review, 3 lawmakers declared their assets. It doesn't mean that only 3 lawmakers are declared. I saw a lot of people carrying only 3 lawmakers have declared. That is not true. She was reporting for the 3rd quarter. So sometimes it's good for us to get these things right. If you don't have the information, our officers are to be there, come there for clarity. Thank you so much. Answer the question.
Please introduce yourself, the institution you report from. And please, one question to a speaker.
Thank you. My name is George Momo, and I report for the Liberian News Agency. So my question goes to Elaine Authority. Thank you for what you inherited and what you're doing, specifically looking at your plan going forward. But then public awareness is key. I believe that's the reason why you're here today. But then I did not listen to you talking about how you intend to get to the public, especially when they are in rural Liberia and they believe in their local radio station, talking about community radio involvement. Can you speak to that, sir?
Thank you. My name is Mopolu, and I want to use this time. Since Minister P has not been around, we want to say thank you. We experienced mature role in our election from this ministry. We want to say thank you so much. We hope that we continue working together. But I mean, as let me start with the minister who has been around, Minister Sino. I want to ask about the Green Park management. Since you didn't mention, I just want to remind you. But the research from GSC report, it mentioned that the Green Park management, was not in good standing in order to manage the park. And they also mentioned that it was just a week before they take over. And the rate for they and the government was 30-70. The government of Liberia was to benefit 30% of what the park will collect, and they take 70 and to take over the park. The question is, you announced here that the government has problem with that. You are sued the Green Park management to give the property of the government. Since then, the Liberian people have not heard anything about it. How far is the issue of the Green Park management? And lastly, just to emphasize the issue of awareness from the angle of land authority, the issue of statutory land and that of a customary land, many Liberians are not informed of that. And I think part of it could be the issue of the District Number 7 issue. What is the administration is doing in making sure that future occurrence will be prevented? Thank you.
So my name is Joseph Salif. I'm a Liberian journalist. My first question goes to our Minister Sano. Few days ago, we listened to the Senate Pro Tem, the former Senate Pro Tem, who said that government was negotiating for the resurfacing of what we call Igbo Mark and Eton deal. We know in the past time, when this government in opposition, they criticized that deal. I want to know, as the official spokesperson of the government, where are we? Is there any Igbo Mark deal on the table of the government? Would there be any reincarnation of an Igbo Mark deal under this administration? And to the land authority, when you took over, during your taking over ceremony, you were here at the ministry, and you informed us that you were conducting an audit of your office before you can take over that office. I want to know, did you commission that audit? If yes, where are we with the audit in terms of the report from that place? Have you forwarded to the requisite authority responsible for that? Thank you.
Thank you. My name is Desmond Moyo, and I report for Democracy Watch newspaper. Thanks to the chairman, Honorable Samuel F. Kpakio, for delivering a scripted speech. My concern is being drawn to the issues as to, I want you to state categorically as to whether or not Liberia, as a post-war country, can be free of land crisis. And how, if yes, how can that be achieved? And to the deputy spokesperson of government, I follow very closely the confirmation hearing of the Minister of State Designate, Honorable Steve Tukwa, and there were issues about the executive mansion villa. And many times in previous government, there are attempts to renovate that so that the president can have a comfort to run the country from that place. And he mentioned that under this government, there are plans. And I'm interested to know as to whether from the angle of the government, can you, as a deputy spokesperson of the government, confirm to the Liberian people that under the leadership of the Unity Party government, the executive mansion will be renovated for use of the president, the executive mansion. And just as a last concern or recommendation to the minister, thanks to County Minister Pia, I followed the speech delivered there in the U.S. During the 30th convention of the all journalists, in the Americas. 30th, yeah. The 30th convention, bringing new breeds of leaders to power, and that was trying to reassure the government's commitment to press freedom, support of ethical journalism, and we as members of the body, we think it is important to acknowledge these steps from government officials, because in journalism, truth-telling matters, and that is why whenever a good is being done, it is our responsibility to acknowledge it. So I want to say thanks so kindly. We look forward to government support of free press in and across Liberia.
My name is Jackson Ali Shafa, and I report for SAM TV. My question first goes to the Land Authority. So my question has to do with the issue of Burkina being in Grand Jide County. There have been several reports over the period of time that Burkina were intruding, taking lands from Grand Gideans, and violence have been raging all around. To the extent LIS have to deport some of those Burkina. What are you doing to address the land crisis in Grand Jide County? Then the next question goes to Minister Pierre. Thanks for coming back. You appear much younger than before. So my question has to do with your admittance of this government's hard work providing electricity across the country. Is it because you were part of the governance structure, the United Party 12 years governance structure under Madam Salif? Is it that the United Party is trying to correct its mistakes that we have made in the past? Thank you very much.
My name is Aruna Ekwepudi, and I report for Blaze FM. My question is directed to Mr. Kpakio. How does the authority of the Liberian Land Authority handle the issue of land dispute? Because the issue of land dispute is on an increase in Liberia on a daily basis. So I would like to know, how does your entity handle the issue of land dispute? And also, what documents are required for land transfer or ownership verification? Thank you.
And so the name is Prince Tuba, and I report for Spotlight Africa. let me say thank you to Minister P.I. and let's say welcome back again. Let's say welcome back. And to the chairperson of the Liberian Land Authority, I just want to do a follow-up, especially on boundary demarcation dispute with the case study with the one between Sano and Riverside. How has the authority been able to handle some of these situations across the country since you took over?
Good afternoon. My name is O'Neill Phillips. I write for New Liberian newspaper. I have two questions. One question go to my own. Mr. P, I want to say welcome back to the country, even though the public affairs say we shouldn't say welcome back, but you welcome back to the country, not to your office. So I want to say welcome back. God will miss you, when Papa Nankai, we can feel fun. But I have two questions. The first question go to the chairperson of the Land Authority. Currently, there are thousands of Liberians who are now displaced based on issue in the VOA area where we have the Hotel Africa. We want to know what specifically is the role of the Land Authority as it relates to people who supposedly or allegedly encroach on government property. Currently, the upgrade of that issue. The next question goes to the Ministry of Information, my own bosses. And we got information that about some 52 or 56 buses that NTA promised are in the country. We want you to please speak to that. Is that true or not? If not, when are we expecting those buses? Thank you very much.
Okay. Once again, thank you for those for the points that you guys raised. And please allow me to say this, that few of your concerns will be answered by those that came with me, because I have the Director for Communication here talking about awareness. He has some strategy and he has developed the processes that he's going to take to make sure that rural areas are aware and they are educated when it comes to land matter, which was the first question asked. Talking about the second question, which talks about the statutory land and the customary land. I'm so glad that I also have my commissioner here for land use and management. It is his area, and these are the main reasons I decided to bring them. The third concern here talks about the audits. Yes, indeed, the Liberian Authority is exercising that right to conduct an audit. This audit has been going on now for the past 3 months for the fact that the reason that it delays is because the GAC is all booked. And they also have some challenges with staff. The team that we have now, they are working between the Land Authority and also GAC. And they have their staff all over the country and also attending these things at the other government entities. So please be informed that the audits, according to the information we got from them, from those teams, from the team from GAC yesterday, hopefully in a matter of a month, they will conclude their audits. And we'll make sure that the public will be informed on the outcome of that audit. The next question talks about if Liberia can be free from land conflicts. You know, it is very difficult at times to say yes or to say no. But because of the new technology that have been developed now, and I believe many of us have been hearing about cadastre. Our Swedish partners have been putting in a lot to build our capacity in the area of cadastre.
And if you listen keenly, in my deliberation, I did mention about a team that came from South Korea, and we signed an MOU. They are also going to be helping and building the capacity of the Liberian Land Authority. You see, cadastral making is very much easy. That every citizen, if you obtain or buy or purchase a parcel of land, your entire detailed information will be put into that system. That tomorrow, if any other person comes to cross-cut that portion of land that you have purchased, a year ago, 10 years ago, whatsoever it is, that system will be put in a computer, into our system, and by the time you put the false information, they're going to backtrack. Those are things that we alleviate all of these land conflicts. But we are working on it, and we're not going to give up on that. The fifth question, I think it came from Jackson, talking about the Vietnamese in Grand Liberia. A few months ago, a team of technicians, including myself, we visited the southeast counties, 6 counties, by the way. And during our assessment, we ran into these issues of Vietnamese. It is serious. However, it kind of looked like a national security issue. We are in consultation with relevant entities that are very much focused on security. We are consulting. We did our reports, and also we shared our report with stakeholders of Grand Liberia County, stakeholders of River T, those counties that we visited, and we, at the same time, we are coordinating with the Internal Affairs Ministry and Ministry of Justice and also Ministry of Defense. We cannot today give you what will be the end result, but we are discussing that. Okay? There have been issues in Grand Liberia and other counties where the Vietnamese has invaded for the fact that most of those customary settings, they do not have their customary land deed yet. We have to do the formalization. So many of them do not know their limit. And you see, also, what we found out, which is very interesting, we realized that our own citizens are the ones that are encouraging and bringing those people. Alleged, let me put it that way. But we are conducting an investigation on that. The other one question, how does LLA handle land disputes? Well, right now, we are working on reorganizing the disputes unit, which we call the ADR. We are trying to bring on board a team of legal experts, because when it comes to land matter, you see that when clients come to our entity, they come with legal people. So we don't want only the technicians sitting there conducting land matters. We want a team to comprise of legal people. Right now we have 2 legal personnel. We are trying to build up to like about 5 or 6 of them. So it's something that probably we share knowledge with our neighboring countries. Sierra Leone, most of their ATR team, majority of them are legal personnel. So we will definitely want to do the same thing to make sure that those cases are handled appropriately. Sino and Riverside boundary issues. My commissioner will address that because he has worked on that issue, and he'll be able to give you a very good response to that. Hotel Africa. You see, Hotel Africa, we all know that in the 70s, whatever it is, Hotel Africa, the community belonged to the government. Most of the communities that we have surrounding Monrovia are government property or government or public land. And we have people that encroach on them. Now, for the transformation that we all are talking about, we want to transform the country, we want to make sure we create jobs, we create other opportunities for the young people. Hotel Africa, I think this administration is trying to bring in investors, definitely, to invest in Hotel Africa that will create over 300 jobs in that place. We need to know that the total coverage of Hotel Africa land, even the villas that are built there, government property, Now, if you go to Water Africa community, you go to see Liberians that squat in those communities. For us to have those investors to come in and carry on the development and bring employment, we need to definitely clear the place. And many of them that sit there, some of them try to present squatters' right certificate. Squatters' right is something that tells you you're just going to be here for a short period of time. That anytime government ready, you have to leave. This is where we are. We sent a team of technicians over there. They went and authenticated the limitation, the limits area of Hotel Africa, and I believe they have planted pegs already, right? On that. Pegs are going on, investors are coming in, I think they're connecting with the NIC, with the National Investment Commission, and the rest of it. And our duty is to make sure that the land is free and secure. Okay, so let me give the opportunity to Commissioner Cassini. Let him address the other issue and the awareness. Commissioner, before you come in, let Secretary come and talk about the awareness in the rural area. I thank you.
Thank you, Chairman. Thank you for Minister. Thank you for the work here. Thank you for the question. So we are aware of awareness issues when it comes to land in Liberia, and we are working robustly to make sure that the awareness reach our people in every town and villages across Liberia. So in the past, some of you are aware that the World Bank Project helped, we had a nationwide awareness where we train community journalists and also partners in the land sector to help us to take out the message, particularly on the Land Rights Act as it relates to customary land and the people rights, the women land rights, and everybody involvement when it comes to land issue in Liberia. The youth, the women, and that went very well. We're aware that right now there are awareness at different layers and different segments. So the Students Project is also helping us with that awareness within some communities. But right now, we have this radio program that we've developed. We're working now with our partners to see if we can have the support. You know that communication awareness is very expensive. So we need that radio program for land matters in 9 of our country, and soon we will be. Let me remind you that our website is very active. All of our policies and laws and guidelines are there. You can download them on our website. Our Facebook page is very active. We are considering to have communication officers representing Liberian at our local offices in the country that will also help. They will be trained to give the information to our people. So we are working and we are aware of that. Thank you. Thank you. The Liberian LLA is our website. Thank you. If you answer your question and follow up, I will also talk about it.
No, thank you. So, thank you so much, Honorable Minister. I think I'll be very fast. There are 2 questions I will respond to. One has to do with statutory land and that of customary land. I'll do the correction first before I speak to that. We don't have any land like Liberia called statutory land. We have 4 categories of land. One is private, one is government, customary. These are the categories that we have. Public. So I'm not demanding. So when you have a customary land, and what you do is like to have, for instance, the community decide to come together and formalize. Like we have the vote where, let me use that example. When you formalize, we give it a deed called statutory deed. That deed carries the name of the community, not an individual. So that will work in terms of the land or customary communities. With a case in Rossef and that of Alsano, I think that have been a soft case one time with internal affairs, the land authority, and the local leadership from Sino and Rossef. There's a girl called Pula Creek. If you've been in Rossef alone, somewhere called Pula Creek, after Atia,
It's across the Kpakio tree. So the people across there, they are bicep, and they said they have to sign it. We went there with the General Affairs Minister during the last regime. We had long meeting with them, and they accepted we open up land boundaries. There's a land boundary there all the way between Riverside and Dallas. Signed and they accepted. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, let me answer the only question that I was asked. What did Junior Comrade who asked that question? Yeah, I understand why I answered. He said we're talking too much about roads and electricity. So you want to know what I was correcting our mistake, right?
Yeah, sure.
If in 2017 you elected the Unity Party and President Bouakan, the things you see now would have been done, because there was no mistake. Except we forget when President Seni took over this country, all the roads were non-existent, including in the capital. Maybe you're too young to know. If you got someone amongst you who older, happening and helping to tell me what they used to call the Tottenham Boulevard. Who remembers? Don't slow massage. Because the public welfare minister was Dave Johnson. So that whole stretch of road, you couldn't drive there because he denied it, so he used to call it Donzo massage. We didn't just build that road and all other roads around America. We built a new road straight to the Canada. We built a new road from Monrovia to the Ganta border. We started constructing the Southeast Road you're talking about today. We started the process from Maryland coming down. There was no mistake. We raised all the fundings through the African Development Bank so that our road could continue from Maryland, where we started it, to connect to Lima County. We raised the money. We raised money for the Lofa Road. I think you saw President Seni and President Weah breaking grounds there during the election. So we're not correcting mistakes. We're continuing from where we stopped. But the people who took over from what we started with that way. If they had done it, by now, Kota in Lofa, because 6 years. 6 years, I've plenty of time to build. It shows now that we're starting from where we stopped. And before 2029, we drive on paved roads straight to Lofa. Electricity, when President Seni came to power, he started an initiative called Small Light Today. But you're not born, maybe you said. You don't know what it is, why you? Yeah. So the president of Ghana was here on independence to switch that small light on. For the first time, people are running all around the street and crazy, celebrating that we turn off the small light. They should keep a promise to bring a big light, yes, because we built the hydro. So through the hydro, we started conducting homes and roads and everywhere. What are we doing now with this massive expansion? We're continuing from where we stopped. If they had done half of what we've done in less than 2 years, during the last 6 years, you would have been somewhere else. Since they didn't do it, they're picking up from where we stopped, and we now rest until the 6 year ends. So we're not correcting this thing yet. We just pick up from where we stopped and continuing. And you will see more massive work. Like I said, I went to the 2 places in the morning. Massive road work. When I was really driving home last night, and then I was coming in the morning, I said, oh, so the place will be like this. The 2 sides of the road. So clear so that we can start laying out that road 4 lanes. Now, one of the add in the touring wave is to start the road from 2 ends. The one you saw happening with the Ara area. You know, they started pavement from on that side, then they started from so. You want to use that approach over our major road works. So say for Lofa example, you start paving from the cover, at the same time you pave from Bagagoi. Operation Octopus. Not the Octopus we saw in 1992, Taylor attempted to crush ECOMOG and capture Monrovia. This is a developmental autobus, spearheading the transformation process of our country. They are all unfolding before your own eyes. And the way I want to encourage all of you, including our people, pay attention to what you see. Because there are some people who every day they sit down wherever they are, nothing happening as far as they're concerned. And so if they are the only source of your information, and you just get frustrated one day you get everything you want to take your own life. Just look around your surroundings. Like I said, since 2011, who's supposed to wake up in G4 community to the new reality? And then somebody sitting down somewhere and say nothing happened, and the person accepts it. The road finally connected from Tapeta to from Sector K to Tapeta. And the Gideon said, picking up from Tapeta, in the next target is Toastown in Grand Gilead. Those are here on the outskirts of Grand Gilead. So, on the period of the 6 years that he gave us in, from Monrovia to Harper, paved road. From Monrovia to Mandekoma, paved road. From Monrovia to Port Waterside, not just paved road, but 4-lane for the first time in the country's history. All the streets around here, all remade. All county capitals connected. So there has been no time. And development has been practical, serious, and honest. This is the time. And what you can do as a citizen, a good citizen, is to support your government. Don't try to bring down your country with negativity. Thank you.
Pierre Bigistéron.
Yes, 148.
Thank you very much, Mr. Pierre. So we want to start by answering or responding to the last question I was asked by you. The MTA buses, I can speak to the one you see have been pirated on social media. What I can speak to authoritatively is that the one that was purchased and been shipped to the country by the management of the National Transport Authority will arrive in the country next week. So the buses are expected to arrive in the country next week. I have what you know about the NTA buses. Desmond, you asked whether I can confirm that this administration was concentrating on the renovation of the Minister of State for Presidential Affairs is the Chief of Staff of the President. I thought he spoke very extensively with the issue yesterday. He even went forward by putting a cost to what the renovation, why it would cost the government to have the full mansion, the full structure of the mansion renovated. I thought that was detailed enough, and I would not want to say anything beyond that. Well, of course, you know the mansion was built as the official workplace of the president. There is also a residential quarter there. So it doesn't make any difference. On the question of Ito and Igoma, I will also reference what the presidential press secretary said. Nothing concerning this deal has been formally sent to President Boyka. And you know, as a ministry that speaks for the government, we want to limit what we say to the official position of the government. Maybe you can contact Senator Chi, he knows what he's talking about, but as the government spokesman, we have no idea because, to the best of our knowledge, nothing else has been submitted to His Excellency. Mopolo asked about the Green Park management. I recall at the beginning of this year we announced that the management of those parks and the subsequent contractual agreement that led to the park being turned over to private entities was fraudulent. The Ministry of State has taken siege of the matter, and of course, you know, there's an ongoing litigation. Because, for example, these parks were built with taxpayer money. When the parks were dedicated, a contract or firm or some business entity was established overnight with no history of managing park, no history of doing business in Liberia. And the very people who were heading these entities awarded a contract to this company to manage the parks. For example, the Moreover City Corporation, for example, is a signatory to that contract. In the mind of the Ministry of State, the President legal advisor, God was school him on this. That was wrong. The MCC has got no authority to award contract for a property that belongs to the government of Liberia. The Ministry of Justice has no idea. So it was done unilaterally between the mayor, the former mayor of the city corporation, and this overnight company that was formed. So that process is being challenged. I know there are a lot of concerns from the public. Recently, we heard that they even announced some parking fees that will be collected on Sunday for vehicles. Once the matter is before the court, the government cannot do anything arbitrarily. You know, when you are in government, you have to lead by example. So let us wait until the court can resolve this issue. What I would do, for the sake of your curiosity, is to maybe reach out to the President's legal advisor to tell us how far they are with the case. We'll do that, and maybe next Tuesday we'll tell you. With that being said, I hope I responded to all of the questions appropriately. Let me now, on behalf of the senior management team, thank the head of the Liberia Land Authority and his team for coming here today. We are happy to have our minister back, and we look forward to seeing all of you on Tuesday to continue to communicate and inform the Liberian people appropriately. Thank you.
So that's it. Just listened to Ramadan Odesano.
Yes. Hold on a minute. You know, yesterday was the birthday of the former IT minister, Mr. Johnny Kpakio. The other day I announced that all the transformation you see happening here have been led by the Deputy Minister for Administration. And Mr. Kpakio, on behalf of the senior management team, we just want to wish you a happy, prosperous, belated birthday. Thank you.
So while we are doing the photo, we'll do a song. Minister? So we come from 1 to 5, taking a picture. Please. 1, 2, 3.
So we just listened to Ramadan Odesano, Deputy Minister for Press and Corporate Affairs. Here at the Ministry of Information, Cultural Affairs and Tourism.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. We will bless you. We will bless you.
So on Yesterday was the birthday of the Deputy Minister for Administration here at the Ministry of Information, Cultural Affairs and Tourism, Honorable Johnny Takpa. He celebrated his birthday yesterday. So once again, this is how we come to the end of today's press briefing here at the Ministry of Information, Cultural Affairs and Tourism. So to the MICAT, press briefing was addressed by Honorable Samuel F. Poko, Chairperson of the Liberian Authority. Honorable Poko spoke on current Liberian Authority policy based on the MOU signed between the LLA and its South Korean partner recently. So until then, do join on next Tuesday for another edition of Ministry of Information, Cultural Affairs and Tourism press briefing. Until then, I'm Asiami Konen. Bye from my end.